Welcome to AAA Short Stories by Nelson Nick. I'm your host, Nelson Nick, and this is what we have for today's podcast. Yes, the following episodes are about a documentary being produced for television by Rocco Anastasio from Anastasio Productions. Here we have an interview of Staff Sergeant Gonzalez, a non-commissioned officer from when he started in the military, during the military and special ops missions. I hope you enjoy these following episodes, and we will do our best to make sure that you like what we're doing so we continue doing it.
FBI, after maybe about 70, maybe 80 feet, I started running, and Duke thought we were playing, and Duke and I were running towards the FBI, and when we get the FBI, the press was there. They came up to me to ask me questions, and the only answer I had for them was, that gentleman over there dressed up in a suit, that's the FBI. The FBI will inform you of anything you need to know. So I went back to my supervisor. We waited there for a while. They considered me being part of EOD. Not really, because us K-9, we're the first dummies to walk into a building or to go somewhere to find the bomb. We leave, and then explosives ordnance disposal, EOD, they're the ones that go to the explosives and they disarm them, or they just blow it up, or whatever decisions they make. That's another one of these experiences that you never think you go through. But I was fortunately lucky that I was able to be in so many ops. And I don't remember all of them. I'm disabled, a little bit of PTSD, and my spinal cord is not so good. But an experience like this, you normally don't tell people. Now that we're doing this project, years have gone by, it's time already to let people know that there's so many operations going on every single day, and we never read all about it on the press. And it's not fake news either. It's just real press.
I'm going to change the battery like that. I'm going to get see this thing here? I have a double battery pack there.
I just don't believe that my girl's next to me, she stayed there all this time.
Just hanging out.
Yeah, she's very tranquil. But it's from the very beginning when you gotta teach them to go pee or take a crap outside.
Yeah.
That's why I got that little door in the back so she could come in and out anytime she wants. Doesn't have to make me open the doors for her every time.
I know my kids say they want another puppy.
You do? That's a lot of work.
It is. I told you, like, we had a dog that died.
Yeah, I know you didn't want another one. Yeah.
I'd like one, but not yet.
You're not ready for it.
I want to enjoy life without having to worry about finding somebody to take care of the dog if we want to go away for a weekend.
No, but if I have to go away for something, I just leave the dog at a kennel that they take care of him. And I have a camera, I have a connection online that I can see my dog anytime I want to the internet.
Mm-hmm. Alright, I think we probably got a couple more points to hit, and then we should be good.
Yeah, the medals.
The medals and
Yeah, that's the story about one of the 12 outstanding.
Okay, so that'll be my lead in there. Okay, so you want to talk to me about medals that you've received?
Well, for that, there were so many medals. I need to grab a piece of paper, and as some people say, when you get older, you kind of like use glasses and things like that. So I'm going to use my little glasses here and read From the DD Form 214, the medals. Something simple. Air Force Training Medal, Air Force Commendation Medal, Small Arms Expert Marksmanship Ribbon with a Bronze Star, Non-Commissioned Officer Professional Military Education Ribbon, Air Force Longevity Service Ribbon with 1 oak leaf cluster, Air Force Overseas Service Long Tour Ribbon, Air Force Outstanding Unit Award with 1 oak leaf cluster, Air Force Good Conduct Medal with 2 oak leaf clusters, and many more. But the big one, the big medal, was the Meritorious Service Medal. When you're working, you got to keep stats. But sometimes, or basically, if you're going in competition for anything, you just don't kind of like read up and start adding your statistics. With Tiger and Operation Counterpush, I don't remember if I said that we arrested over 1,500 people, 1,500 prosecutions, and over 5,000 items of drugs and paraphernalia. I competed for Airman of the Year for the Security Police Squadron, the base, the wing, and I was lucky enough to also win Airman and NCO of the Year in 1981. And I was placed as one of the 12 most outstanding airmen. In USAFE, we competed, but I didn't make it at the time. Somebody else made it before. So I managed to be awarded with all these awards and the knockout of drugs. These years that we were working under Operation Counterpush, we took down a whole bunch of dealers, and we had nothing to do with drugs and arms like the Iran-Contra affair, which was during that time I was in Europe. So, what do you get for an award? We got our personal parking space in front of the VX. I managed to get a trip to England, trip to France, trip to Spain, free pizza, so many different awards. But the one that I liked the most was when I had a flight on the F-4 fighter, Phantom. I got trained with my flight suit, got trained to do whatever was necessary to be in the co-pilot section, be trained that if something happens with these F-4 fighter planes and you're going down, I know exactly what I had to do to get my butt out of the plane. So, to make a long story short, I'm inside the F-4 fighter plane, my pilot's in the front, the windows are down, we're taxiing, and I noticed that my pilot was having a problem with the air traffic controller, and I asked, what's going on? Don't worry about it, I'll take care of this or whatever. So when we went on the runway, we're taking off, and what he was talking about was exactly what he was going to do. The F-4 went up, straight up, and kept on going up. My flight suit starting tightening, really tight on the legs. Then I noticed that it's to keep my blood in my brain so I don't pass out. So we kept on going straight up, just like a rocket. And I tried to turn my face towards the side so I could see what's going on. It took me a hard time, but I managed to look. And if you see that this hand is planet Earth, it's exactly this way. We were just disappearing from planet Earth going up there. And that's the fight he had. They didn't want him to go ahead and do the upwards. So, I never said this before. I told my son, then my daughter, all these years I didn't know that my code name was Black Rabbit. So now I find out that I was Black Rabbit. We went through the Rhine River in Germany. We were going sideways. We were following the river. We saw a lot of castles, and then you could see the people, but not the people themselves, their clothes. You know, you got your whites, your reds, your greens, and the oranges and everything else. So the pilot decided to go upside down and fly upside down to show off to these people over at the castles. He was trying to make me puke in the cabin because that was his job. And someone told me, don't you eat anything before you go on to that F4 because he's going to try to make you puke. And if you puke, you got to clean that cabin. And to clean that cabin with all those instruments and all those buttons, I wasn't going to go through that. So the only thing I did was coffee. So after he turned around, he kept on doing all kinds of things with the F4. He gave me a chance to fly it. I flew it. That was a lot of fun. Flying an F4 fighter plane. And he decided, let's go check this out. He decided to go at 1,000 feet per second. We were booking. Now, if you realize, as law enforcement officers, we kind of like get an idea of a bullet. A bullet could be going 1,000 feet per second, 1,200, 1,500. The F4 was going at 1,000 feet per second. And that was more fun. Puke, yeah, I wasn't going to go puke. So he delivered some bombs or some things that he had to do after that. We managed to get back to the base. Fire department's there. They wanted to all soak me up and everything else, and we were celebrating. That's part of my awards from one of the 12 most outstanding airmen in the 17th Air Force. You know, from security, the base, the wing, Air Force, and youth safety. So that was a lot of fun, flying an F-4 fighter plane.
I want to touch upon your thoughts about, I guess, the drug war and how those type of operations are run today. If you just want to share your thoughts on, operations that are run that the public doesn't generally know about, and not just drug operations, but I guess operations that are dealing with the safety of what we're dealing with here.
There are thousands and thousands of operations done from all the military. It's not just us in the Air Force. There are some missions that deal with saving lives, deal with avoiding other people getting drugs. Because could you imagine everybody's stoned on a base and we have to go into action and we can't because people are not sound of mind, they're on another planet. So these operations are all over the planet. You're not going to hear about the operations on the news or television or radio because they're classified. Why are they classified? There's something called you don't have the need to know. I remember Project Blue Book. Many people were scared about UFOs. And Project Blue Book was run by the U.S. Air Force, but they never proven that they're aliens. Now, the nature of a human being is when something is happening and you don't have any idea what it is, you go first into fear. And people start reacting in fear. So could you imagine if we proved that there was a UFO and people start seeing it and start shooting at it? So missions are necessary for many different reasons. Kidnapping, threats to blow up nuclear energy sites, or blowing up oil fields. There's so many problems that we have to take care of. And the way to do it is quietly, effectively, and if we have to do it again, we learn from our mistakes and we go back at the mission again, whichever that mission might be. But after the missions, we just don't go ahead and talk about it. You don't have a need to know, we just don't talk about it. That's it. Simple.
You mentioned PTSD earlier.
Forgot my trauma, huh?